Hey, everybody. Welcome to this week's The Real Estate of Life with Kevin Rouse. I have a friend. It's The Real Estate of Life with Kevin Rouse and friends. And I know I've been solo for like many weeks, but now I have a friend, one of my very dear friends, one of my best friends from back in the day. Taft Mohair, international best-selling author and speaker, is with us. We're going to talk about his book, Journeys to Success. We're also going to talk about today's topic. Remember, it's Motivational March. Rolls Royce Dreams and Big Wheel Work Ethic. Come on now. Rolls Royce Dreams and Big Wheel Work Ethic. DJ, hit that music.
Support for this program comes from the Digital Broadcasting Network, presenting podcasts and web series from everyday people who have an extraordinary passion to make the world a better place.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to The Real Estate of Life with Kevin Rouse. This is your host, Kevin Rouse. And I keep saying The Real Estate of Life with Kevin Rouse, but it really is The Real Estate of Life with Kevin Rouse and Friends. That's the actual name of the show. But I guess I must not have that many friends because it's been like 30-some episodes, and I think I had like 4 people on here. But I promise you, people like me. I just scheduling the whole 9. Anyway, long story short, I want to welcome you first and foremost to Motivational March. I told you in the last couple of episodes that we were going to spend March just talking about motivation and success and how do you reach your goals and some of the things that will assist you in reaching some of these real estate goals for those that listen for real estate reasons, for those that listen for education reasons, how do you reach some of your education goals and kind of some of the things. And so I wanted to bring in experts on motivation, experts on success, experts on happiness, experts on everything that comes as it comes to or pertains to, I should say, motivation. And so I brought in the expert on motivation who has so many stories that he could tell on his life. His life is literally a book. And we'll be talking about a book that he is a part of today as well. But I've been telling him for years, literally for years, you need to write a book. You need to write a book. So he finally listened to me a little bit. He's a best-selling author because he's part of one of the authors of this book. But I want him to get one that has all of him, all these different stories because he's a really good storyteller. So today I want to welcome for some, introduce to others, Mr. Taft Mohair. How you doing, sir?
I'm great, sir. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. So y'all gonna have to.
Thank you.
No, you're welcome. You're welcome. Look now, we really know each other. So I'm just letting y'all know that those of you that are listening in your car right now, some of this conversation might diverge out into areas. We knew each other before we were saved. You know what I'm saying? So we got all kinds of stories, right? And he probably didn't. Well, he don't care. So because in order to be able to tell the saved stories, you got to be able to tell the non-saved stories.
Gotta relate.
You got to be able to relate to the people. So I wanted to have Taft on for a while. He's one of my best friends, and I want to talk about friendship. And Taft, friends don't necessarily talk every day, right?
That's true.
Yeah, friends don't necessarily talk every day. My definition has come. I'm 44 years old as of the day of this taping, and my definition of friendship is when all else fails, when you get picked up by something you don't, or if you got picked up by somebody and you had to call some people and you knew they would come regardless of the reason, right? Regardless of the reason. Those are people that are your friends. Everybody else is friendly, associates, but the people that would come and you say, hey, man, I need you to come here. I can't tell you why. They coming regardless. Now, on the way home, they're like, man, what happened? But so Taft is on that list. Taft, Mohair, David Wilson, Kevin Hauser, Yvette Mitchell, Cassie Cook. Those are of course my wife, but that's you understood. That's what level of friendship we have. So I appreciate you being that friend. We don't talk every day, right? But as soon as we start talking, we pick up like it was yesterday. So let's talk to the people about Taft Mohair. Who is? No, I'm joking. Tell people kind of your backstory, where you're from, from the neighborhood. I know you want to shout out your neighborhood, your school, and the whole nine. We're gonna get to the topic, but tell people a little bit about you.
A little bit about me. Well, I am gonna shout out my neighborhood, Trinity Garden. Grew up right here in Houston, Texas, Northeast Houston. Mm-hmm. And matter of fact, I was just sharing a story yesterday with someone. We live in a society where people are afraid to discuss race. Mm-hmm. And I was talking with someone who was Caucasian about the fact that I grew up in black neighborhoods.
Or in
black
Wakanda,
schools.
that means colonizer. Go ahead.
Black schools all my life. And you get all of this information about how you interact with people of a different ethnicity. Whether you're African American interacting with people who are Caucasian or Latino, et cetera, et cetera. And so our children are growing up in a different environment.
Yes.
And so we have to equip them with different tools
That's true.
than the ones that we had when we were growing up in the environment and the loving, nurturing environment. So me growing up in Trinity Garden and having that loving, nurturing environment, I was asked the question, this goes to the question, Taft, who are you? I was asked the question, Taft, I was on campus, on Prairie View's campus on Wednesday, and a student asked me, why do you come back and help us so much? Because somebody did it for me. Somebody was there for me to help me get out the ditch I crawled into, to help me fix the mistake or fix the thing that I broke. And growing up in Trinity Garden, in the environment, both parents being divorced, both loving parents. Wasn't a dad situation that you hear a lot about on television. But my father, matter of fact, he was the best, as you know, the best man in my wedding.
Right.
So growing up in a situation where you're seeing your people go through so much, I developed this love that I want to do more. It's not that I'll ignore anybody else, but I want to do more for ours, as you and I have talked about on many occasions. And so then going from there, going to Booker T. Washington High School for the engineering professions.
He had to get that in. Go ahead.
And leaving there, going to Prairie View, getting an engineering degree, going into corporate America, and just was frustrated. I don't ever feel like I was lost, but I was looking. I was frustrated and wanting to get out of corporate America and do my own thing. So who I am at the core is a person that wants to do more for his people, but I don't consider myself, I don't want to sound negative, that social worker type mindset. I am a business owner through and through, and wanting to help other people and teach other people how to build their own businesses, become independent, maximize their incomes and invest correctly, et cetera, et cetera. That's who I am at the core. I want to help others. I want to help people who want to win. And even before that, 2 times before that, I am a child of God, and I love my wife. I love my children. I'm a family man. So that's who I am at the core, man. I want to do more for people and help people realize the success that they've always dreamed about.
Gotcha. And so to that point, I'm gonna come back to something that you just said. What is your current business? What do you do? Explain to the folks that
I am a speaker, trainer, coach, and now author. And so, for years I resisted the title of being called a motivational speaker, simply because typically a motivational speaker, and I don't mean to offend any motivational speakers who may be listening,
but
a motivational speaker is the one who will go to the stage, delivers great content, inspires an audience, and then leaves. Whereas me as a trainer, I want to be embedded with the client to create change. So I always have preferred a client contract that puts me in a position to work with them over a period of time. So the name of my company is Empowered Insights. We do training and development, keynotes, workshops, seminars, leveraging technology now, doing virtual masterminds. And so it's just been an amazing concept to take the work we've done for the past 20 years, being bound by geography, but now being able to train people in other cities, states, and countries, once again, over a period of time, leveraging technology and helping them create change.
Yeah, and I know some of your clients, but just for those that don't know, some of your clients that you work with doing the same things, can you name a couple of them?
Actually, my primary client is the College of Business at Prairie View A&M University. And I like to say it that way because I am an engineering grad, but they say that sometimes a prophet is,
he's about to get biblical. Y'all write this down. Write this down.
A prophet is not respected in his own land.
Right.
And engineering graduate, a lot of work for the College of Engineering during and after, but the College of Business saw fit in the training modules that we had developed, and they wanted to integrate those into one of their courses at the college. And so for the past 8 or 9 years, we've been doing this work, helping students change their lives, get more internships, increase their GPA. And what's been great, doing work with them as they're in undergrad, many of these students are now in corporate America. And so they're participating now in the leadership and success training that I'm doing for individuals who are small business owners or people who are in corporate America and they wanted to break through that glass ceiling. So that's been it's been a great, I guess you can even call it a funnel system. You point into them at one stage.
Give it to them when they're babies,
and then they see the value and they take it at another stage.
Right.
And so I hope I answered your question.
No, I wanted people to understand your level of expert. He's a little humble. A little bit, and so I wanted people to understand as we start talking, like who you were as a person, then from a business standpoint, what you do, and some of the clients you work with, and kind of how you like to work, because like you said, we both do motivational speaking, and I'm a little different in that I do trainings as well. I've done trainings with you, but I think I'm a keynote kind of 1 or 2 hitter type of deal or 4 hour type of deal. Taft be with you for your life, I'll be with you too because you always contact me, but he be with you 13 weeks in a row. That's the good thing about our friendship and the way we do our businesses is that's true. It's different. I come in and I'll do a session either for an hour or maybe throughout a whole day, and then typically those are the type of sessions that I like. And Taft, by the time he finished, he at your house eating dinner, because he's embedded like that. But we both have done speaking. We both speak, and that's what my joy comes from, speaking and teaching on stage. When I dream. Most of my dreams have me on stage in front of people. I don't see their faces, but I see people. When I'm in the shower, which is whatever reason, that's when I get my ideas.
Right. It's the water.
Yeah, it's the water. No. Anyway. But it's the water and actually you did. I don't know if it was you that told me about a article, or did I read it? Or I can't remember.
Interview with Oprah and Pharrell.
Yeah, and talking about the water and how
his creativity
comes. Yeah, exactly. So, but even then, I have that same deal. And so, really, you guys are kind of finding out the genesis of this podcast was I sell real estate for a living, and it is one of my talents. I'm truly talented at it, and I'm not saying that to be arrogant. It's just true. But
it is.
With that being said, my passion is speaking, and I'm an encourager. I'm a teacher at heart, and so this podcast is a method for it's a selfish reason that I do this podcast, is to be able to scratch that itch, the teacher itch, the motivator itch, the coach itch. And so, I hope I'm bringing good content, but I'm really doing it for myself, because I, like Oprah has a saying, Taft, that we're all trying to be the highest expressions of ourselves, right? And if we can live a life that is the highest expression of ourselves, then that is a life well lived.
Right.
And so, and various folks, that comes in different forms, be true to thyself and things of that nature. But essentially that's the highest. And so the highest expression of myself is when I am in front of a crowd, whether it be 3 or 3,000, being able to teach and deliver content that I think is gonna help them. And he and I have that in common. He just wants to stay a little longer than I do, but that's it. It's okay. It's okay.
Before you move from that, Kevin, let me jump in on that. Lupita Nyong'o made the statement maybe a year and a half ago that your voice has value. When she said that resonated with me in such a strong way. And going to what you're saying, there are people that your voice will resonate with that my voice will never resonate with. And the value in your voice, when it reaches them or their hearts, you can enable them to create transformation. So it's so crucial that you take this platform of having a podcast, even though it may have an element of selfishness to it, the world needs to hear your voice.
Right.
Because there are people out there who need to hear you, and you may be that one trigger one day that makes them say, you know what, I can do this.
Right.
You know what, I can change this, or whatever the case may be. And we've both experienced this. You know, you told me the story about when you went to homecoming this past year, and a gentleman that I think you told me that he's a doctor now, and he came to you talking about how he looked up to you.
Oh yeah.
In undergrad.
Yeah.
He admired you.
I was worried when you went down the homecoming trail. I didn't know what story you was gonna tell, so I just. But no, this is good. This is good.
So I mean that story. That's a prime example of what I'm talking about. There are people sometimes watching us, and it's not a matter of being famous or being an author or being in a book, being on television. It's a matter of walking your life out every single day and reaching the potential that God has poured in us. Because when we do, other people see that. And we give them the freedom, the courage to go ahead and do it themselves.
Do you know what your calling is? And let me follow it up with a secondary question. And if you do, if you know what your calling is, then are you constantly refining it, or do you have it down to a specific, this is exactly it?
When you say calling, allow me to change that word to mission, and I'm gonna answer your question. And if I'm not,
I don't want you to change it to mission. No.
If I'm not in alignment with what you mean, then you teach me, and then we'll work on it.
All right.
My mission in life is to teach people how to transform their lives spiritually, financially, professionally, and personally.
Okay.
I do that through keynotes, training sessions, conferences, writing, and any form of encouragement through print media and e-media.
Okay.
The challenge over the past 20 years is determining how to monetize those things. But when I did not do those things, I was at my lowest point from an emotional perspective. When I do those things, even if the money's not there the way I want it to be, I'm at the highest point of my life. Now, when I do those things and we get paid,
it's
fun. It's bliss.
I hope Mr. Producer could show us just floating in the air right now. Go ahead.
So, am I constantly refining it? If I'm understanding you correctly, understand your question correctly, no, I'm not constantly refining it.
No, you're clear. That was very clear.
I'm constantly refining whether or not what I'm doing is that. That's one reason. Bring back organization that you and I was near and dear to our heart, National Society of Black Engineers, NSBE. That's one reason I let NSBE go. Because as I began to pursue this mission in life, even though NSBE was congruent with the mission, it was not the logical path for me to pursue at that point. In undergrad, yeah. After undergrad, through the alumni extension, yeah. But as we progressed in our careers, that was not the viable route for me to pursue what I was doing to get towards this mission, to get to this mission in life.
So I'll tell you guys, what he just said is almost exactly what I wrote in my I had an assignment back at Morehouse in English, and we had to write our mission for our life. And that mission was to positively impact the lives of people spiritually, economically, socially, and spiritually, right? So I wrote that. I was probably 19, 20 years old. And I've never really asked him that question, not in the way I just asked it, even though he wanted to change it from calling the mission same thing. But anyway, but what I liked about what you did was you said, that is my mission. This is how I apply my mission. That's the engineer in him. This is the theory, and this is how you apply the theory, right? And so the reason I ask it is because the mission that I just told you that I have, I've often struggled with the application of, because the world will tell you, I'm not go preach, but the world will tell you that that's good, that's awesome, glad that's your mission, but you better go make this paper, because we live in a way you got to make, like as my grandma said, got to make the bills. Make, for those of you out there that don't have kinfolk, African American people, they'll say, they got to make the bills. That means they got to go pay the bills. And my grandmother would physically go pay the bills because she's in a small town. They go write the bills. So just a little nomenclature, since somebody was telling me earlier that I know some stuff and the people I don't explain. So I'm explaining what making the bills is. So anyway, I digress. So you know what make the bills is because you can with that being said, though, one of the issues, and we're gonna get to journeys to success. We're gonna get to all this, but this is good stuff. One of the main issues as I try to refine my calling, and that's why I ask, because it's something I'm dealing with now, is I have struggled with the application of my mission because of what either the world says or my own fears of, man, I got a wife and child and things of that nature. And I've struggled with that. And I'm the same. And when I am doing this, I'm at my highest emotionally. Like right now, I am geeked out of my mind. We don't have a sponsor for this, so I'm paying for this out of my pocket, right?
That's just how much you love it.
That's just how much I love it. I would do this for free. And I'm paying the Digital Broadcasting Network to do this, but I'm always looking for sponsors. But I'm paying to do this because I enjoy it. This feeds my spirit. And when I'm not doing this, when I'm really busy and doing real estate, even though that is a talent, I'm at my lowest emotionally. So I have to do something. Like, I've learned that over time. And because God has blessed me on the real estate side, I have the funds to be able to allocate to do this until I found a sponsor to do this. So I think, and I want you to kind of speak to this as well, in what we find when we go out and speak to, whether it be elementary kids, or not elementary kids, maybe high school kids, the college, to the corporations I've spoken with, people don't know what they are called to do. And they spend a lifetime trying to figure that out. And even my pastor said something, Dr. Ratliff said something one time, even if you're living your calling and your avocation, you're at least getting, so this is my avocation. In other words, you have your vocation, what you work, and your avocation is what you do after work, your ministry, your service, and things of that nature. Some people are not living their calling in either facet. And I am a believer that is the reason that we have people that are in dire straits as far as depression and things of that nature, because they're walking against the grain. They're walking against the everything. If y'all hear, I don't know if y'all hear this, but my chair is squeaking a little bit, so that's just not me tooting or something like that, just in case y'all out there. So but with that being said, I would assume that you find the same thing, especially with college students, right? That they don't know, right? They don't know why they're here.
And the sad part about it, with when you're in college, you're paying to earn a degree. So either the money's coming out of your pocket, your parents' pocket, or the government's pocket, but money's coming out of somebody's pocket. So you match that with not knowing what on earth you're here for.
Right.
It creates stress. Right. Especially if you paying for it. Right. And then I'll give you a prime example. Last year I went to a golf tournament for, I think it was the Prairie View University National Alumni Association. I think I could be wrong. No, it was the athletic department. And no, I was not playing. I played in high school, but that's not my thing now. I'm not patient enough. So I went just to support and network. Met a gentleman who's a graduate of another great HBCU right here in the city of Houston. And this gentleman's son is attending Prairie View. And the son wants to change his major from engineering, and I think he said to accounting. And he said, I think he may have used calling. I think he told his father. The mother's telling me the story. So the mother is trying to help the son explore this calling. And so she's explaining it to me. The father walks into the room. The mother, she just gets quiet and just kind of does me like this. Stopped, like, we'll talk about it later.
Sore subject, yeah.
And so I'm like, what is he, a dictator or something? Right. What's going on in y'all's house? And so the whole situation, I coyly brought the conversation back up. And the father says, yeah, my son told me he wanted to change his major from, let's say, engineering to accounting. And he said he feel like that, he's more passionate about that. And I said, son, you go get this engineering degree. You're going to make some money. you can worry about a passion later on. And I said, that's part of the problem. And so when people tell me, and they tell me weekly, I just had this conversation on Wednesday with a young lady. This is the second time in 16 years I've had this conversation with her. I have this conversation with students and adults alike on a regular basis about not knowing their passion. So 16 years ago, no, that's not accurate. 2003, so 15 years ago. 15 years ago, I'm the keynote speaker, the opening keynote for Student Leadership Institute, and we were in Del Lago. And I'm excited. You know how we are when we speak for our university.
Yeah.
So I'm on a completely different level because I'm training material that I just written. I think that was the first time I wrote Discover Your Gift, Develop Your Gift, Deliver Your Gift. And so I'm fired up. And then I get there and it's 300 students in the room.
Oh, so we love big rooms, by the way.
So now I'm multiplied.
Right.
So I'm in front of the room and I make an effort to be sensitive to my audience no matter how large or small it is. And I see this young lady's face. And I could see that what I'm talking about, she just ain't getting it. It's not that she wasn't intelligent enough. It's not connecting with her. She feels lost. Everybody else in the audience, for the most part, is, yeah, I need to do that, taking notes, asking questions. And I just see despair on her face. And so I stop, engage with her, ask questions, and she just says, what if you don't know what your purpose is? And I felt her despair. This energetic young man, 3-4 seats over, can I address it? Can I talk about it? And I want to engage my entire audience. So of course I want to answer a question, but he wants to answer the question, brother. He begins to answer the question, and I could sense. And as he answers, the audience is like, yeah, that's what you do. Yeah, that's how you do it. So they're getting behind her and his answer. But I see this despair on her face. After that, I understand that I need to talk to this young lady. I need to have a one-on-one conversation. But 300 people in the room. We finish, and everyone's asking questions, coming to talk to me. She disappears. She stayed on my head and on my heart. But the next week or two, I'm on campus at a basketball game, and I run into her. And I didn't want to seem like the creepy dude that's a speaker trying to talk to her.
Right. Hey, let me teach you something. Yeah.
So I just, from a distance, hey, how you doing? You remember me? She was like, yeah. I said, I remember your question. Can I help you with that? So I gave her some advice. She is a program director for the university now. Loves what she does, but she still doesn't know what her purpose is. And so I went to her office to talk to her about some other student resources that we want to provide. And she goes into not knowing her purpose. So what can I do to help? I think I have something that could help you with that. Some questions and a process. Are you willing to go through the process? She said, yeah, give it to me. She leans forward. That's how I watch people's body
lean
language.
in. Yeah,
she leans in.
Right.
And because I don't like to waste people's time. So she leans in, and I didn't have the information on my phone, so I said, when I get home, it's on my laptop, I'll email it to you. And she said, you probably gave me the same information back then, and we both said it at the same time. A lot of people are not ready for it. But she's gone through a process. She's now in her mid-30s. She's thinking differently. She is a different level financially, not a broke college student. And I think she's open to receive the answers to the question as long as she's willing to go through the process. And I've had that same conversation with so many adults who are in their career. They're making money. I've had people tell me, man, I should have left engineering when you did. And I just hear the undertone in their voice,
like, man,
the desperation, and I'm like,
it's golden handcuffs.
You can still do it.
Right.
And as you were just alluding to, making the effort to do it in the evening. If you're working from 8 to 5, do it from 7 to 10.
Right. We have 24 hours in a day. So this is what I want to ask you this, but since we've kind of alluded to it, and then we're gonna get to the book, The Journey of Success. We're gonna get to it. Right. And so I want to ask you, how do you find your purpose? But I don't want you to answer yet because this is going to be a 2-part episode. And so we're going to wrap up this first part of the episode because this I'm telling y'all, this is good. This is an expert. This dude right here, look, this dude right here is an expert, right? So this is the end of part 1 of this episode. And so I want you guys to come back and listen to part 2. Please do. We're going to talk about how do you find your purpose. And then we finally going to get to journeys of success, Rolls Royce Dreams with a big wheel worth ethics, part 2. Hey, thanks for listening as always. Do you have questions about any of the topics I'm talking about? If you have questions, let me know. Email me at kevin@kevinrouse.com. Again, that's kevin@kevinrouse.com. I'm going to do a podcast just on the questions that you guys are sending me. So feel free to send them to me. Again, that's kevin@kevinrouse.com.